some overcast clouds, but we're gonna make this happen, everybody. Stay tuned. Oh my goodness. I am so privileged to be the chair of the library committee here on this beautiful campus of UMES. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. The wind is blowing on, and here we are. This is the Frederick Douglass Library, everybody, right there. The Frederick Douglass Library. We have the media library celebration at the UMES campus in Princess Anne, Maryland.
So once you have the
So,
mic set up, go ahead and get started.
okay.
I gotta go in and take care
Okay.
of stuff.
Thank you, Joseph, for all your help. That's Joseph, the librarian there at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. We're getting ready for our open. Media folks, and we're getting ready for an open mic, a live poetry. Stay tuned. Oh,
First March, and so I will be reading this poem. The poem's called Do I Look Dangerous? I sit on my bed, staring at the TV. I'm rooted to the spot. My heart fills with dread. Covering the TV screen with scrolling red, bands screaming, black man killed by police and caught on video, and black man dead. They couldn't even have the decency to mention his name. What I saw in that video left one question swirling through my head. Do I look dangerous? Getting out of bed means I risk dying one day. I could get murdered on the streets. I won't if I stay. The color of my skin is seen as a weapon when it should be seen as a blessing. I remember when people stared at me weirdly because of how my skin appears. Now that I'm older, I'm no longer blinded by the youthful innocence and my parents' understandable protection. With the blinders of blissful youth removed, I noticed and witnessed my people getting murdered, and their deaths were only barely murmured. The ways they died left me astonished, and the murderers still often go undemolished. My heart bleeds for them, like sap from a great maple tree. What we heard and saw made us scream in despair, and all this pain we had to share. I can't breathe were the words he uttered. I felt horrified when no one saved my black brother. I may be a light tan brown, but my skin and color, skin screams proud. I'm black, I am proud, I am black, I am proud. It screams like a thunderous clap, but it's as soft and as quiet as a tap. I remember a man who called out for his mother. He reminds me of all my dead sisters and brothers. I am tired of watching them die for nothing when I want to fight beside my people for something. Society's perception of beauty is another enemy that demolishes our self-esteem endlessly. Lighter skin is seen as beautiful, and darker skin is considered anything but that. But black skin comes in all shades of color. We are all uniquely beautiful. No one is lesser than the next person. Thus, black on black despisement should lessen. So I went to the marchers to also send that message. We marched in the streets, the sun glared on our backs, bounced off the concrete, we walked, uncaring if it was hot because injustice called desperately upon it. I can't breathe, justice, and George Floyd was chanted, as loud as the crack of church bells, repeated like a psalm's prayer, bleeding on the pages of what's right and what's wrong. In a chaotically organized line, we marched from the parking lot, down to the empty streets blocked off by police cars. I heard screams left and right and tears crawling down contrasting colors, and colorful bold emotions bled through, twisting anger, disgust, and sadness too. We reached the grassy courtyard on the waterfront. We gathered as one, a mixing bowl of different colors, black, tan, and white, one and in the same. Several people stepped forth to pray, to sing, to speak about the injustice we all saw and have seen over the years repeatedly, only to witness another black victim added to the list of the innocent and murdered. We nodded somberly. We agreed confidently, and we screamed angrily. What burst forth from our souls and combined into a local storm only added to the stewing pot of pure anger and slashed morals, buried deep under what was unjust and pushed us on. I returned to my home safe and sound and reminded myself of how blessed I was. Thereafter, I started to watch the news every day. I could see and hear Black Lives Matter boldly on display. It was empowering. I felt my love for progress toward change flowering. I have a message to send to all of you. I stand with you. I band together with you. We brand on our arms Black Lives Matter. Here we stand, and over the land we shall march, hand in hand. It is justice we demand. But every day we still struggle. How long will this go on? Where we won't have to beg and plead for our lives to not get snatched and stolen from us, where we won't get stepped upon. It hurts. Our chests, our hearts hurt. In our past, heavy chains on our limbs dragged us down where we were bound, but they'll no longer drag us down to the depths. Our mouths will no longer be sewn shut. We can't back down, no matter what. We have to stand to make a difference. We have to be our own deliverance. To do that, we must become a group of protesting people, and we may be strong together, but something almost strong holds us back. Injustice. It can take away our rights and our freedoms. It'll choke and strangle us with its cold white claws and hurt us with its unjust laws. This monster will hunt us down, but we have to stand tall and proud. If we do, we will make a difference in our independence, and God will deliver us with the appearance that comes with strong perseverance. Make America great again? Please tell me, when has America ever been great? It's riddled with histories of hate, enslavement, civil war, racism, marches for peace and equality amongst mankind. When we had to fight to be seen as equals and wanted no more hate. A country where bigotry is strong, a place that makes citizens feel like they do not belong. Prejudice is loud, angry white men defining me by the color of my skin. If the color of my skin defines how people will treat me, talk to me, or talk about me, how will I flourish in a world that lacks justice and kindness? I will only feel malnourished. That truth hurts, and it fills me with anger. It keeps leaving me with the same question that needs an answer. Do I look dangerous?
Tears ran down from her eyes to her nose. She was yelling. A low pitch echoed throughout the room. There was no one there except herself and a lifeless body, surrounded by a gentle fragrance. There was no coming back. The scent of flowers filled the room. The scene was beautiful. The small woman was crying over her princess. It was like a fairy tale, except there was no happy ending. The room felt black. There were no more tears left for the woman to cry. The flowers were watching, especially the rosemary. The rosemary always looked on. The woman grabbed something. She was ready to thrust it deep into her chest. The rosemary sung, a song so beautiful which filled her nose with a pleasant scent, a scent so reminiscent, a scent created by the seed her princess had once grown. The woman stopped. The sound of the knife hitting the ground filled the empty room. She stood up. She walked towards the rosemary, grabbing the pink flower, and she placed it on her princess. She stood quietly, a sad yet hopeful smile grown on her lips. Her princess loved rosemary, so because of that, she continued to tend to the flowers.
Woo! Amazing! Thank you. Thank you so much. I also wanted to thank the Hawk Media for being out here. Let's give them a hand too, the Hawk Media. Thank you so much. Amazing. I love it. Our next poet is William. Let's give him a big round of applause and encouragement.
I wrote this poem about my favorite moment of a book. It was this astronomy encyclopedia. It was the book my dad got me when I was a kid. So it holds a lot of special memories for me. So yeah. The poem is titled What We Read, What Is Written. I could have cut out my tongue many times before speaking my mind. I could have gouged out my eyes many times before seeing another self-fulfilling prophecy come true. I could have singed away my skin many times before experiencing another cold winter's day. I could have died many times before living the life I have today. It was not easy. To swallow medicine instead of drinking water, to learn how people died instead of how they lived, to mourn your childhood, be reduced to a child in a hood and bear witness to child after child murdered in their hoods. I bet if my hood was white, I'd finally get that tax write-off. And if I stained it red and blue, perhaps I'd even get to be called American. My American dream was a story authored by a colorless menagerie, illustrated by a peerless jury and edited until all the martyrs became men who died for glory. I could have let another falling action transition into yet another tragic conclusion. That is, until I opened my second book, one that had nothing to do with the first, with nary a curse nor a promise to make everything worse. With every page I could travel the stars. With every chapter I could learn to harness stardust and dream of a better earth. With every image I could capture light, learn to make rainbows and envision colors outside of black and white. Every sentence was another way to escape this unfair sentence. Every period taught me that every ending what always leads into another beginning. My first book was not my first story. My first book was not my first lesson. My first book was the last book he got me. My first book was the last book I needed to teach me how to write my own story.
Woo! Excited. Thank you, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, for giving me this opportunity as a librarian to be the chair of this wonderful committee. I'm excited. Let me show you what we have. We have the public library, Somerset Public Library over there. They got a table over there. I communicated with them, reached out to them so we can create a partnership with the public library here on the Eastern Shore with the Frederick Douglass Library right here. This is National Library Strong. Yeah, y'all, we're coming live from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore campus with the Hawk Media.